you think my vector is going to be? Tell me. Look at my forearm and tell me. Yeah, I-dash. What else? P-dash. Maybe a little M tail, L down. That's probably hard to tell, but definitely I-dash, P-dash, right? So that's what we're going to do, and then we'll eventually drop there. We're not even going to do that right now. This thigh to thigh is part of this whole drop, and we're going to talk about that next week. So now, let's talk about another contact that we can use. This won't be applicable to anybody in here. But if you were this wide, getting that contact all the way over would be really, really hard. That patient would almost have to be facing down for that to happen. And if that's the case, you're probably not going to have a good adjustment. It would be really hard to have that counter torque when the patient's almost prone. So if that were the case, imagine this. I get my hand like that on the SPs, and I could pull on the SPs. Not really, but that's kind of what we're pretending. So we can do a two-finger spinous pull. I get kind of two fingers across one spinous process. So which spinous is it going to be? The spinous of the lower vertebrae of this motion segment. So if I'm doing this, while I'm doing this, I'm palpating two SPs, and I get everything to move. The top SP moves. When I do this, they separate. When I do that, they move. The top SP moves down towards the table. Then I grab the bottom SP and I continue to hold that there. And if you see my forearm, what's my forearm doing? Yeah, I'm pulling on the pelvis here. I'm not just doing this, because that's not going to do anything, right?
Because you want that lower part all together,
Yeah.
right?
It's all connected. That vertebrae, the vertebrae below, the sacrum, the pelvis, and the thigh are all one unit at that point. And I'm going to rotate all of that together. But if I try to do that with a thigh to thigh, what does it do? Yeah, it's all cramped up. Now again, if you were a much bigger patient, I might be able to do that. But we have another leg contact that we can use here. We call this a knee to knee. Scoot your hip over a little bit so you're a little bit more squared up. Pretend you're much larger and that you're not flexible. There you go. So with this one, I might put the knee a little bit higher, even with the patient that's flexible. So just relax. I got you here. Yeah. So even with this particular patient, this leg is going to flop down. So I put a little bit higher on my thigh to keep it there, because I don't want it flopping down until I put a little bit of pressure on it. So now I grab the SP that I'm contacting here. My forearm's against the pelvis, and I keep the thigh up there and bring my knee just behind their knee. So my knee, my tibial tuberosity is kind of right in this space behind the knee. It fits really well there. So what did I just say? Where do you want your knee? Tibial tuberosity right here. Not like this. One class, and I didn't actually make a point. That's why I make a point of it now. I just showed it and thought that that would have been obvious, because I didn't really even think about that detail. And they were mounting each other. It was weird. I was like, wow, that's not.
Whoops.
For me, it's a matter of leverage. Of course, I'm going to use this out here because that's more leverage. But that's what we're doing. It fits a lot better, and it's way less awkward to do it that way. You probably can make it happen with your leg on top of the leg here, but it'd be a little bit weird. And for me, especially on this table, that's quite a stretch for me. So instead, I get that SP, I hold everything there, and I bring my knee right there. And I'm leaning on the knee a little bit. It's not like my knee's floating. I'm leaning a little bit. And as you can see, as I start even just pushing on it a little bit, we're getting some rotation. So eventually we're going to pull and kick at the same time. And the kick's going to be two different ways. One, just hip extension. The other one, like you're kicking a ball under the table. Both of those will do what we need to do. Hip extension looks like this. Kicking a ball looks like that. They both rotate the spine a little bit. In this position, I tend to like the first one. So I'd be kicking and pulling at the same time. You're not attention, right? Just, are you feeling this in the ribs? Okay. So I'd be kicking and pulling like that. So let's go ahead and first try the hypothenar mammillary contact. It should look and kind of feel like a PI ilium. Be able to do it slowly and find that tension so it feels like the tension's just there, not that it's excruciating. And then set the patient up again, make sure their hips are pretty square so they're not completely flopped over. Get this contact after you've done the opening up and flexion, after you've done the rotation. Get the 2-finger spinous pull contact, bring your tibial tuberosity up to just the crook in their knee. And then be able to use your knee, your forearm, and your hand as one unit. Notice what my fingers aren't doing. They're not like this. They're not all like crimped up like that, because I'm not literally hooking the SPs. I'm taking all of that as one unit. And I don't feel like your SPs are incredibly palpable. If they are, and they're right there, and you feel like you can hook them without using a lot of energy, go ahead and do it. If they feel like you're just sliding over them, don't worry about it. I don't want to see a lot of like hand tightness here, because by itself, these contacts don't mean anything. The setup's really what's going to get you the tension. Okay, let's do that. So